Caritas in South Africa and the region is responding in organized way to the challenges of the people that are experiencing in our area, to the poverty, to different disasters like floods or fire, in different ways, depends on the local situation and local abilities of the Caritas. Caritas South Africa in these last years, when we are celebrating officially 5 years of existence of Caritas in South Africa, giving the service to the people. During the pandemic, Caritas was trying to help poor people who didn't have the employment, didn't have the food with food parcels on different levels, especially on the level of parish, of the level of the local community. As well, during the different disasters, the people of South Africa were sharing their resources to help the people suffering from the flood, especially in KZN and other parts of the country, giving and sharing what they had. This is the work of Caritas, to share the resources, share the love you have for Jesus and have for the people who are in need, especially poor, who are in need of support in different ways. So we are asking everyone who will be listening to this message to put hands together in our dioceses, our parishes, our local communities, to start the groups of Caritas, those who will be sharing their resources and coordinating the response to the disasters in our communities, so that the love of Jesus, love of the church, love of our hearts as Caritas is the love in action. So let us work together, let us build our society, our church in new way, working together, not looking at the differences, but in our diversity of life, put together resources and good things we have for the benefit, for the common good of others.
And what I really like this period of 5 years that we have Caritas in South Africa is that many of steps took place to develop Caritas in this country, in this region. And one of the very important was at the beginning when we started to draft the constitution and then to see the first steps that we needed to implement for the Caritas to be developed according to the mission of the church, because Caritas is the mission of the church. Another point that I consider very important during this period of time was the new people coming in, embrace this new initiative of the Southern Africa Catholic Bishops' Conference, is with the bishops together want to implement and to organize the charity in this region. The charity that is organized gives good result, and that is happening to bring together already different organizations that are doing good to the poor, to the people. I want to thank you with all the people that and different groups that are together building up Caritas as the heart of the church, as the mission of the church, and as the charity, to remember that everything is because we have a poor and we have a people in need.
My first words this morning have to be congratulations to Caritas on achieving its 5th anniversary since its establishment. My first encounter with Caritas was way back when, in the 1980s, Caritas was simply an account in the books of the man who was running the Bishop's Lenten Appeal Fund. And it was a relief account from which, whenever some disaster struck and the SACBC needed to respond, that's where the funds would be taken from. I think it's a clear example of that was when the tsunami hit Sri Lanka a good number of years ago, and the devastation was absolutely unbelievable. Caritas collected, I think it was up to 2 million rands. And we thought it was such a significant event for Caritas to have that amount of money that we asked the person in charge to go to Sri Lanka and make the presentation on behalf of the Bishops' Conference. I think that was probably the first great action by Caritas South Africa, which at the time would have included Swaziland. Botswana, I don't think, had anything at that stage, but certainly Swaziland had an active Caritas. And then we realized when we were on our Limina visit, I think during the time of Pope Benedict, we visited Caritas Internationalis, and they had discovered that Caritas was supposed to be a living action in the armory, I would put it, the armory of every diocese, every Bishop's Conference, in fact, every parish. And when we met with Caritas Internationalis, they really converted us around to the idea that Caritas is much more important than simply a relief fund. It is actually the charity arm of the Catholic Church in any country or in any place where the Church is present. And so after that visit to Caritas Internationalis, we got back here and it fell to Bishop Duncan Tsoke, the auxiliary bishop of Johannesburg, to be the one that was elected to run the first Caritas on the new understanding that we now had, that this was the charity arm of the Bishops' Conference and not simply the relief arm. And Bishop Duncan spent, I think, his term of office of 3 years was spent practically entirely on getting the constitution into place, getting all the structures into place, and getting Caritas working. I took over from Bishop Duncan, and it was a matter of refining the constitution here and there, but then focusing on how do we get Caritas into the minds of the bishops so that it becomes an active organization, the charity arm of the church in each of the dioceses, first of all, and then into the different parishes as well. So we've come a long way in the 5 years, but there's still a longer way to go. And that is, how do we make the charity arm of the church so obvious that organizations like Gift of the Givers won't be necessary in our parish areas when it comes to meeting the needs of those who cannot look after themselves. Congratulations to Caritas South Africa, therefore. We have joined Swaziland, which has been active for a long time, Caritas Swaziland. I remember when Bishop Ndlovu was there, most of the assistance that the Diocese of Manzini was getting was being operated through Caritas Swaziland. And that was a very, very good way of making people understand that the charity arm of the church, wherever it is, has got that lovely name, Caritas, the love which Jesus said, and St. Paul in particular says is the center of all human life. Congratulations and God bless you.